Senator from Oklahoma.
I'd ask that my amendment, number 3792, be reported by number.
The clerk will report.
What's he doing?
The senator from Oklahoma, Mr. Lankford, for himself and others, proposes an amendment number 3792.
Senator from Oklahoma.
Thank you, Mr. President. This amendment would add language to prohibit funding for abortions consistent with the long-standing Hyde Amendment, which has been the law of the land since 1976. Hyde Amendment has enjoyed decades of bipartisan support, including from then-Senator Joe Biden, and has been signed into law by Democrat and Republican presidents alike. Hyde Amendment reflects a decades-long consensus that millions of Americans who are profoundly opposed to abortion should not be forced to pay for the taking of human lives of children or incentivize it with their taxpayer dollars. In a 2020 Marist poll, found that 60% of Americans, including 37% of people who identify as pro-choice, oppose the use of their taxpayer dollars to pay for abortions. Similarly, the Weldon Amendment has been in law since 2004. It protects individuals from being forced to participate in abortion if it would violate their conscience. Millions of Americans of faith and of no faith know that the only difference between a child in the womb and outside the womb is time. Just because they're smaller people doesn't mean they should be any less protected by law.
Mr. President, this amendment is a serious threat to women's safety that would allow someone else's personal beliefs rather than a patient's best interests determine a patient's care. No healthcare provider should be able to refuse to give life-saving information about where to get care to someone who is miscarrying. No healthcare provider should be able to refuse to transfer a patient who needs an abortion. And no healthcare provider should be able to turn patients away in an emergency situation for purely ideological reasons. Everyone should be able to make their own choices about pregnancy and parenting and exercise their constitutionally protected right to an abortion. And Mr. President, this amendment would vastly expand abortion restrictions on federal funding. I urge my colleagues to oppose this amendment.
Mr. President,
Senator from Oklahoma.
I would ask for the yeas and nays and remind everyone these amendments have been in place since 1976. In 2004, it doesn't expand anything.
Order. Is there a sufficient second? There is. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms.